Hello and welcome to SSRF's spiritual research series on leading a spiritually beneficial lifestyle. When friends have a drink together, perhaps the last thing on their mind is the spiritual effect of the alcohol they will consume. However, the spiritual effect is quite significant. And in this video, we will share with you our findings gained through spiritual research. Researching and analyzing the spiritual dimension is not like regular research and can only be conducted through an advanced sixth sense. Every stimulus, including what we drink, affects the activity of the spiritual energy centers in our subtle body known as Kundalini chakras. These chakras regulate the flow of subtle energy for various functions. To aid our research, we made use of a biofeedback machine which uses an electrosomatographic scanning technique. This technique gives us an interpretation of the electrical activity of a person's Kundalini chakras. Using this machine, we conducted an experiment using 10 volunteers, all of whom were doing spiritual practice. In this sample, 5 of the volunteers were afflicted by demonic possession, while the others were free from any negative energy distress. The reason we chose such a sample is because people worldwide are affected by negative energies to some extent, and in 30% of cases, people are possessed by these negative energies with or without their knowledge. In the beginning, we scanned all the volunteers to get baseline readings of their chakras. We then served all of them alcohol. Some had whiskey and some had beer. They all had between 2 to 3 standard sized drinks. Soon afterwards, we took another reading to see the effect the alcohol had on their chakras. We continued to take readings at regular intervals until we found that the readings had returned to somewhere near the original baseline. It took as long as 170 hours or 7 days to get back to normal for one volunteer, while the average across all volunteers was about 60 hours or 2.5 days. With regards to the volunteers who were possessed, the change in readings on the biofeedback machine for 60% of them were more negative. This actually means that there was a decrease in activity of their chakras. %80 of the volunteers who were not affected by negative energies also showed a decrease in the activity of all their chakras. Before we explore this subject any further, I would like to share with you a concept that is fundamental to our spiritual research. According to the science of spirituality, the entire universe is made up of 3 subtle basic components: Sattva, Raja, and Tama. Sattva is the component that represents spiritual purity and knowledge. Raja represents action and passion, while Tama represents ignorance and inertia. The subtle vibrations emanating from anything and everything are dependent on the predominant subtle basic component they are comprised of. Through spiritual research, we found that alcohol gives out Tama-Raja predominant vibrations. Her Holiness Mrs. Yoya Valley, a saint from SSRF and a member of our spiritual research team, has an advanced sixth sense of vision. She provided us with a glimpse of the various subtle vibrations generated when we consume alcohol. Through her sixth sense of vision, Her Holiness Yoya sees that an activated ring of distressing energy gets created in the alcohol. The distressing energy is not confined to just the liquor, but extends out into the surrounding area. She also sees particles of distressing energy emanating into the environment. After that, an activated ring of illusion-creating energy, also known as Mayavi Shakti, gets created and expands out into the environment. This is then accompanied by an illusion-creating fragrance that permeates into the surrounding area. By consuming alcohol, a covering of distressing subtle energy is created on our body, mind, and intellect. Negative energies are attracted to these distressing vibrations and use this to affect and control the person. Illusory subtle particles in alcohol permeate throughout a person's body, and as a result of all these factors, a person feels like drinking again and again. In the case of volunteers afflicted with demonic possession, the possessing entity had created distressing energy centers in all their chakras. The Tama component from the alcohol only further increased the negativity in the chakras. As a result, this reduced the activity of the chakras. In the case of the other group, who did not have any distress, the Tama component in the alcohol affected them too and got accumulated in the chakras. And this diminished the ability of the chakras to absorb divine consciousness. And this is the reason why their activity also reduced. The consumption of alcohol is one of the easiest ways of adversely affecting ourselves with increased Rajatama subtle components. Even a casual drink can increase our risk of being affected or possessed by negative energies. Any increase of Rajatama in a person has a direct influence on the temperament of a person, and this can manifest as laziness, anger, a lack of enthusiasm, decreased efficiency. In almost all cases, alcohol dependence or addiction is a sign of demonic possession. And it is for this reason alcohol is best avoided. In our next video, we will share with you the results when the same set of volunteers drank fruit juice. Until then, remember not to drink. For further information on spiritual perspectives on various beverages and spiritual practice, do visit our website at www.ssrf.org.